Okay, welcome back to another episode of Throttle Stop Garage. Today's episode, we're going to have a look at a little problem I encountered. There's always a little problem. When I went to try to get the sway bar fitted up, the sway bar will be coming in probably another video or two, not too sure. We'll see how production goes. Sorry I've been so, I've left you guys hanging. I've just been too busy to be out making videos. In fact, this is all work I did quite a while ago, in fact, and I was waiting on parts and a few other things, and I just didn't get around to actually shooting the intro piece. I've got the doors open in the garage today, and you will not hear the furnace kick on. It is hot! Canada, we got the two seasons, right? We got way too cold for humanity and then too hot. So those aren't tears rolling down my cheeks, folks. That's just the sweat. It must be, what is it in here? If I focus on that thing, it's 28 degrees in the garage at head height right now. So thank goodness I'm only 6 foot tall. At any rate, so we're now going to get going and I'm going to show you the problem. Let's get. So now we've got the steering all in, basically, right? So there's the steering brackets in, uprights are on, suspension's up. And I'd dearly love to get this frame actually put in underneath the car. That would start making this project start to seem like things are moving in the right direction. So honestly, it's been a couple of weeks, folks, so we're struggling with this one right now. So I got the end links made, or at least the tie rods, sorry. So those are in, nice, everything's good there. Haven't welded them yet. I don't know why, there's no good reason. They'll actually fit fine. Let's just take a close up here of that lower control arm. This is where the current work is right now. So you can see here, this is the bolt-on shock mount here for the coilover. So that's bolting on to where the original Corvette C4 spring pad used to go, was in here. Then we've organized the steering such that we've got optimum Ackerman. So this is where the steering has to be. So I don't know how to show that best, but you can see the arms got a bit of an angle on her there. This is actually sitting about steered straight forward, so that's where it'll sit normally. And then this was the problem that I noticed. That right where my hand is there, that is the that's a sway bar mount. Now, everything went down, right? So we put the steering rack here. We put it down as far as I could go in order to gain clearance for the engine. And then we had to get the roll correctors put in and a few other things done. But then that meant that we are fouling rather perfectly where the mount normally goes, right? Mount normally goes there. So that's a bit of a problem. It's not an insurmountable problem, but these are the packaging problems that you're going to encounter as you start putting these things together. So what have I come up with by way of solution? Well, nothing great or marvelous so far, but the idea here, the sway bar is going to mount up here somewhere, about there I think. Those parts are on order, so we're waiting for them to come in. Then if we steer this so I can do it, if I steer the rack over to the passenger side, you can see at some point here that's kind of the max interference. So if we look at where the bracket is in relation to the tie rod, then what I think I'm going to do here is put a plate between that mount, let's see if it's better here, between the shock mount here, the sway bar mount here, and then have something that'll kind of go in here but not hit this. There's going to be some magic involved with that, but first you need to find out where your constraints are, and then we can go ahead and engineer something that'll come out around here. I think it's going to work. The other bad thing about the suspension as it sits stock is the motion ratio of the sway bar. So the motion ratio of the sway bar is going to be from the lower control arm pivot to the ball joint. Then from the, you're going to have that as a percentage here of this distance from the pivot to where the sway bar attaches. By my calculations, I've got 0.519, so 52%, which means the bar basically only sees 52% of the weight. And anyone that's got any sense would know you shouldn't really load a beam in the middle. It's usually a reasonably bad idea. I mean, the engineers know this. It's not like it's news to them or anything. So the boss is actually right as the webbing here. You can see there, that's an undrilled one. They use the same part for either side, but you know, everything's been beefed up and stiffened and added to, and it's not really going anywhere. But it'd probably be a whole lot better if we could put it out a little further, just in terms of getting the sway bar rate to be somewhat sensible. Anyways, so that's what I'm working on right now. We'll show you more as we go.
Okay, you can see here I've just cut the edge down on a piece of rectangular tube that I've chopped in half to make two angle sections. Didn't use angle iron just because it's kind of ugly, and I don't think it would have bent quite as well. At any rate, so we're just, instead of trying to create another die or build something special for this, I just have some pieces of angle iron lying around the press. You can clearly see I've got a lot of junk lying around the famous 10 tons of Chinese power here. So we'll get that all set up, and then we'll give her all she's worth, eh? We'll see if we can bend this. It's only 1/8 of an inch thick, and it's like, this press can do it, but only just. Anyway, there we have just a first little test, and then we'll put the final bend to it. Now, that's just the first stage. Again, like as I mentioned before, the camera managed to die on me, and there's a bunch of fluffing around that just didn't get recorded. So sorry for that. But hey, the bracket got all welded up and cut apart. It works pretty well. So still happy with the outcome. There it goes. Now it's going in. Just used a machinist V-block, by the way, as the other end of that die. And provided you get that angle right, it doesn't go anywhere.
One of the problems that I had was the camera managed to die, so I've got a new camera set up right here, and I missed most of the footage that actually showed me building the bracket. So we've just seen the press make this angle here out of a bit of box section that I've all carved up. Now the idea behind this is to relocate the end link. So here we have the end links. Now I don't have the actual bracket. I don't have this part finalized yet. This is a little bit too light, and I'm not in love with what I did here, but it's the basic idea. So what's going to happen here, I didn't struggle too much with this one. I struggled a bit with it though. The crazy angle here is meant to replicate the angle that's on the lower control arm. And what we're going to do is we're going to bolt through this back hole here, this saddle bracket here. We're going to bolt that to, get it turned around the right way. We're going to bolt that to the existing lower control arm mount for the sway bar, the end link. Now I've made it double shear. Okay, so we're going to clamp on both sides of that. There's the forged A-arm is between those two things. That's clamped in. It's been welded all the way around, and then it's doubled up. Obviously, with this box section, it's doubled up on the outside. There's just no chance. I don't care what kind of forces I put through it. This is going literally nowhere. Then, just to increase the hilarity of the whole thing, I've added another connection here. So this part bolts up through where the lower shock mount is. Okay, so it actually pinches that. Shock mount's going to be in here, and the lower control arm is also through there, so it fits through that saddle there. And then I've made that cute little bracket, right? So we've got a piece that's bent over here, so that's really strong. It's fully TIG welded all the way around, right? And then we've got that on the top. So I'm just gonna, and then anyways, the bracket for the end link, and yeah, they're super fancy end links actually. I got those from Pegasus Auto Racing in the US. So shout out to Pegasus for dealing with guys like me in their garage. But These are Aurora N-link bearings, the spherical bearings here. So those are real live race car parts. They've got a left-handed thread one and a right-handed thread one and a screw jack in between them to get the level all set right. These are gorgeous parts. Just so you're aware, I'm so happy with every time I get an Aurora N-link bearing of any kind. It's just, they're brilliant. I use them on my other car. I've had zero issues with them. The balls are stainless steel. They're lubed and Teflon lined for life and all that kind of good stuff. Anyway, this, it gives me some ability by locating this forward and aft on this particular bracket to adjust where the eventual motion ratio is going to be for the bar. Again, we went through all kinds of calculations. I'm gathering probably no one wants to hear about that. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if I know enough about it actually to lead you guys through a video on the hows and whys of setting up sway bars on a car. But we've gone with a pretty good sized sway bar for this crazy thing. Anyways, there it sits. So it can move back and forth and I can weld it on and I'll be happy with that. So last thing, I'm just going to show you how it fits on the car. And then that's going to be a wrap for this video. So we'll just have a look at that and then we'll do the out. You can see the bracket now. It's not really bolted. It's just sort of bolted on. The link is there. We go around here. We can see it. My hands needed to help. There's the back side of it here. That bolts through there. That's the mount. This is the mount here. Let's try to get this done right. This is the mount for the shock. That's in sway bar mount. Then that bolts through here. It goes all the way through that lower control arm. So there's a forged boss that goes through there and it all bolts up. Simple. Easy peasy. Okay, and with that, you can see we're actually fitted up basically into the car now. Woo! The frame's almost there. I mean, it's taken me months to get here. There'll be more videos to come. Don't worry, we're back on the game here. There's periods of time in the year, and we all go through this where we struggle to be out in our garages. That doesn't mean we've given up or that we're not doing life. This right? Very short video. Had a lot of fun actually getting these brackets built. I'm super happy with the way they turned out. Everything is looking good. We're hopefully heading in the right direction. Okay, so tune in next time. Who knows what will be happening then.